the beginning of my story right here. I'm from Warren, Ohio. I came to Fort Thomas, Kentucky, right there. John Truitt knows where that is.
There, if you stand on the other side, maybe.
Or move to the side, yeah.
They're around the other side.
That's good.
Yeah.
And
Now they can't see over there.
anyway, Fort Thomas, Kentucky, they stripped us of our civilian clothes and gave us our little army clothes and gave us that famous army haircut, which is nothing, drawn down. So after they got us organized there, they shipped us down to San Antonio, Texas. Delton knows where San Antonio is. Where's Delton? There you go. And I've been to Texas several times, you'll see now.
Lackland?
Lackland Field, you're right, that's it. And also the Cadet Center. I arrived there, and the thing we did there was to take a myriad of tests, psychological, physical, mental, all sorts of tests. And after a month or two, some of us made it and some didn't. It washed out many guys that didn't have something or other, had flat feet or colorblind or things like that. Anyway, there you go, we got an example.
You gotta go back and tell them about the experience of getting into the.
Oh, yeah. Well, my experience of getting in the first place really is a good experience because when I showed up at the place where I was to be tested, they went through all the tests. By the way, I went first to the Navy Air Force, but they couldn't take me because the Army ROTC had preference. So I had to go across the hall and go to the Army and say, okay, how will you take me? They gave me this battery of tests, and when I got all through, they said, you're 1/2 inch too short, and your blood pressure is too low. Low blood pressure. Different those days. Anyway, they suggested I have a recheck, and in the meantime, go home, sleep on a board that night, and you're always taller in the morning, and especially sleep on board.
How about your coffee?
And they told me to drink lots of strong coffee, and my blood pressure will increase. So I did those two things, came back, and I made it. I never had a problem after that. Even though I was short, I was the shortest, youngest guy any place I went in the Army. But anyway, I made it. So that got me down to San Antonio and all the tests they gave. I can't tell you how many tests they gave, but luckily I passed them. So then it was up to me to wait it out and get assigned to a place where I could learn to fly. That's what I wanted to do. I'd always been crazy about flying. I never did anything, but I went to air races in Cleveland and saw Roscoe Turner do all his things, and I was just crazy about flying. So anyway, when the time came, I went to Chickasha, Oklahoma. Who knows about Chickasha, Oklahoma? The important thing is the Oklahoma College for Women is there. That was the most important. You see, at this time in my life, I was going to endure this war somehow or other, and one of the ways I would endure it was to find a restaurant that would serve me a bacon, egg, lettuce, and tomato sandwich, because I love them. And I had to find a girl to spend my time with. So I found both of them. And I started through my training. I was flying a PT-19. I have a picture of it right here. PT-19 was a very easy to fly plane. But halfway through my course, I was playing shortstop for the baseball team. And I took a line drive and broke my thumb. And so they put a cast on it and sent me back one class, 2 months. So what did I do? I ran around with my girlfriend and I shot pool with the commandant of the base with a little groove in my cast so that I could shoot pool. So Rick, that's where I learned to shoot pool, Rick. Anyway, I got through that time and I got back to flying, and one day my instructor came to me. He said, let's go for a ride. So I said, okay. So he took me out to an auxiliary field, and he climbed out of the plane, and he said, it's all yours, right? Go fly it. Well, I was petrified, but I knew I was going to come to that eventually anyway. So I did crawl on the plane. I took off. I flew around the field as he told me to. Came in and landed, and I noticed I was doing a hot landing. Man, it was coming fast. I'd never done that before. When I taxied in, this instructor said that was a nice landing. The only problem was you forgot to put down your flaps. 19-year-old guy mistake. But anyway, anybody would do that. So anyway, I continued with my training there, and finally they said, you're ready to go one step higher. Each 2 months, they would give us a new assignment, which would be to another air base, which is the hotter airplane, more powerful airplane. So I went to Coffeyville, Kansas. Anybody know Coffeyville, Kansas? That's not. Okay, Bruce knows them all. You've been there. Anyway, I went to Coffeyville, and I soon learned why they call it Coffeyville, because so many guys were washed out and killed because this new hotter airplane was difficult to fly. And so I found my restaurant, I got my belts, and I found my girl. Right now I can't remember her name. But anyway.
Ask your wife.
What's that?
Ask your wife.
Yeah, she doesn't. I didn't even know her then. So anyway, that took care of Coffeyville, Kansas. Then they packaged us all up and sent us to Fairbury, Nebraska. Anybody ever been there? Fairbury, Nebraska? Well, they had brand new P-47s waiting for us to fly. And man, that was a big plane compared to what I've been flying. I had to have 3 cushions under me and 3 behind even to see out. My instructors used to say when I came in for landing, they couldn't see there was anybody in there. But I flew it. Well, shortly after I got there, I went to church, Methodist church, and a couple named Iverson came up to me and said, would you like to have dinner with us today? A lot of families did that, you know. And so I said, I'd be glad to. Well, lo and behold, they had 2 daughters. One 16 and one 18. The 18-year-old name was Virginia Iverson. And I spent a lot of time in Virginia. They interrupted that time a little bit by sending us up to Pierre, South Dakota. Isn't this a terrible thing? All I had to do? Look how much they spend on me. Anyway, we went to Pierre, South Dakota, and our mission there was to learn to dive bomb, skip bomb, and strafe. In South Dakota, they have a lot of rattlesnakes, especially that time of year. And I think we killed most of them. Anyway, I completed learning how to dive bomb and strafe. And this was all planned toward going to combat and doing these things. It's just a matter of getting a little bit at a time.